Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some very intriguing news over here where we actually now have some pretty good takes when it comes to the Xbox acquisition that actually might be a little bit more on the positive side. Now, in case you guys have kind of missed it, I myself personally, based on all the information, all this, like just news, articles, and everything in between, I've been a little bit more on the, well, this actually might not go through type of side. Now, obviously, I think anything can kind of go in the future. It's going to be like a 50-50 at this point. It's always just kind of just depends, I guess, on the day of the week and all the news cycles for it. But I've been kind of in a big court case as of right now, so I can kind of see like the idea and kind of the, I guess, rough idea more of like what these lawyers are trying to say, what they're trying to figure out, and so far it hasn't seemed so good. Now, once again, the FTC is the biggest one to go look at, but as of right now, because I've been a little bit more on the bias and the negative side, I want to be a little bit more biased for this video on the kind of good stuff, where a lot of folks, a lot of analysts, and a lot of people involved in the gaming community are talking about the fact that Xbox actually might have a slightly better chance now to, well, win the battle for Activision, and we may have to go and see Call of Duty exclusive on, well, Xbox pretty soon. So we're going to go talk about this, talk about the drama, talk about the Game Pass potentials, and all that good stuff too. And of course, we'll still wait to see if Sony even wants to work in a deal or not. And we're still waiting for some Nintendo news, which we've actually been hearing some really good Nintendo rumors. So we may be on the lookout for that later on throughout today. So be on the lookout for that video. So make sure you guys are subscribed, Twitter and Twitch room down below. Leave a like and your thoughts and comments down below. And let's dive into the video. So, Microsoft and Sony have been kind of in a big battle these past few weeks, this past few months especially, but right now we've kind of been hitting the climax, which is why we've been making so many videos on it, because there's just new stuff coming out, new opinions coming out, and everything all in between. So, basically for this one, it does seem like some folks are thinking that it might be favoring a little bit more into Xbox's side. So, while Microsoft has consistently been slamming up against regulators across the UK, EU, and US that often directly parrot Sony talking points as a way of pushing back against a $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard, it's possible things may be starting to turn in its favor. A few different updates have happened in this ongoing battle, and they're all good for Microsoft. So, surprising for this one. So first, there's a report circulating from Reuters that claims that the EU's European Commission may actually be leaning now, being leaked, towards approving Microsoft's deal, as the company's latest moves of securing contracts with Nintendo and Nvidia for Call of Duty and Activision game access seem to have actually adequately addressed a lot of these concerns about the deal. Now, as I'm sure you guys have heard in my videos or just general news, they're just concerned that Xbox is going to go and basically siphon away Call of Duty, and then places like Steam or say PlayStation just couldn't sell it, and they're kind of taking it away really quickly, and they don't have enough time to remake a different game or a competitor or anything in between. And it's always been kind of a big concern. Like, people are just really concerned about that since the kind of the get-go. But as well as also other things with like the mobile games and like World of Warcraft and everything else that is also concerning, but that's kind of not the biggest deal breaker. There's other MMOs such as Final Fantasy XIV or Black Desert Online, all that type. I mean, it makes sense. So anyway, I guess all these things and all this information for it, people are kind of cool with it besides, well, Sony. And this basically kind of leads towards a lot of the European commissioners being like, well, if you somehow convinced almost all your other competitors to be fine and to, well, fight with this, like they're not fighting against it, say Nintendo or like Steam, then, well, if they don't have any issues, why do we? Like, do we have to worry about this? Do we have to care about this at all? Like, let us know. And, well, so far, it seems like that's fine. It seems like that's a good enough deal for them. So this report also says that despite being previously mentioned, this support of the deal would not be conditional on some sort of an asset split, though, where they'd have to spin off Blizzard or Call of Duty itself, which is also actually very intriguing, too, and hasn't been touched on a lot, or it's basically like, it's still like a pretty easy deal for people to go through either way. So second, the FTC has just ruled in Microsoft's favor as the company tries to get the access to internal Sony documents, which we actually covered up in a separate video. While the date ranges of those documents have been limited, an FTC judge says that Sony does have to turn over a large number of documents, including perhaps some highly sensitive information that may show how much Sony has paid to get third-party publishers to specifically keep their games off of Game Pass, as Microsoft has accused them of paying these blocking fees in the past, which is even more crazy too, because I think that's one of the bigger leaks of like this video / these docs, of the fact that there actually might have been like, I don't want to say wrongdoings per se, but there actually could have been times where they, well, literally have paid people. Like, they maybe have like a game and they're like, hey, like, let's just not, like, you got a Game Pass offer for $5 million? We'll give you $1 million, but just keep it open. You know, like, we'll put you on the front page with a little bit of a marketing deal, maybe put some tweets for PlayStation stuff, but like, you know, it's mostly open. You still get to sell stuff on Xbox and PlayStation, not only on Game Pass, and it's almost kind of a good deal. It's kind of like, say, for like, sometimes you have like a Twitch or YouTube, like for streaming contracts. I'm a streamer, so it's an easy reference. You'd be like, hey, you're still a Twitch streamer, and you can maybe get $20 million to go stream on YouTube. Or, hey, like you already are a Twitch streamer, why not just we'll give you $1 million, stay on Twitch, and you're chilling. Like, it's not that a lot, but you also literally don't have to change anything at all. You just keep on streaming on this platform. And that might be also kind of what they're trying to do is like, hey, like, we'll just give you a little cream on the crop to make it kind of equal for everyone, and it probably will be like a bigger deal and bigger trade offers that they keep on trying to go for themselves. But I think that's a big one, because a lot of folks are kind of curious, and I made this on my separate video. I'm kind of curious on what the price points are for, say, PS Plus, for how much maybe Xbox is paying for Game Pass. All this stuff put together, I kind of want to know. So the argument here is that Sony is being hypocritical with their own concerns about Xbox taking Call of Duty off of PlayStation, even though Microsoft has repeatedly said it won't if Sony is shown as paying outright to prevent games from coming to Xbox Game Pass. And since Sony is the main complaint in that case, this would perhaps damage its credibility and arguments attempting to prevent the deal. Intriguing to know. So this will say there are still basically a lot of hurdles to overcome, and the UK CMA still seems fairly hostile towards the deal, which is intriguing because it's kind of like if you have one European big company in business and they're okay for it, like this government body, while another one may not be. I think at the end of the day, if even one of them goes and gets blocked, then what are you supposed to do? You kind of just get stuck there and you can't do anything. Like, you really can't do anything at all. Now, the part two of that is also a little bit on the scarier side where, I don't know, it's just like, no one knows. Like, it really is just up in the air. Like, I think right now, I think America's kind of more against it because they've had a lot of big negativities when it comes to Microsoft for all their other acquisitions. Don't forget about Bethesda just went through too, so it's kind of like a looming, like, past thought. I think America's gonna be the last boss. Like, I mean, at least for European news, I'm sure a lot of American viewers, you guys who may be watching, might be a little bit more indifferent. You're kind of like, whatever. But in my mind, I just think it's intriguing. Like, I really think America is going to be a harder one to go and beat down. And I mean, maybe they might be more biased with, like, if you say have all these other countries that are okay with it, maybe they won't care as much, but it'll still be kind of a bigger issue. So yeah, we have to kind of see. So basically, the longer this goes on, though, and the more regions approve the deal, and it's kind of what I was saying before, the more this may start to feel like it might be a lost cause for Sony, who may end up watching Microsoft take over Activision, Blizzard, and Call of Duty, and then not exactly be amused with how the whole process went down, which has turned pretty nasty. While it does seem likely that Microsoft will indeed honor its word and keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, expect the most bare bones of licensing deals possible, which may be true of other big games such as Diablo 4. So while this is been far from settled, it's possible Sony may end up regretting sinking so much time and money and badly damaging their relationship with Microsoft, who's gone from a passive rivalry to something more outright hostile. So, I mean, it's intriguing, because I think, like, at least in my mind, I'm a little bit of a biased Sony fanboy, a little bit. I always say that. I don't know. Like, I think having it on Xbox won't change anything for me. I'll play it on PC Game Pass. It'll be fine. But I do think that, like, they probably could, and I've said this on other videos, they probably could have, like, a really good deal. Like, if they somehow had, like, some sort of, like, a one-year exclusivity clause, throw some games on Xbox, throw some games on PS5, or try to keep on, like, maybe having some multi-platform stuff. Like, it always does seem like Sony was the one that was against it. They're kind of the main leaders right now, and they kind of want to kind of, I guess, protect that the best they can. And I think that is kind of a big issue with them, where, I don't know, you kind of see this stuff, you kind of see everything, it's just weird, because we don't know what's going to happen at the deal, and, like, we don't really know how the landscape of the next 5-10 years are going to go, because at some point, it actually might be, well, bad. Like, it actually might be bad for PlayStation. Like, hey, what if they lose a lot of money? Or at some point, what if a lot more people start buying Xboxes because they'll have Game Pass, or maybe they'll sell it for $150 for the Series S, and you still could go play Call of Duty for $150 plus Game Pass. Like, some people only play Call of Duty. I know some people only play, like, sports games once a year. Like, that's just, like, their genre, that's their vibe. So if you could do that for a really cheap console like the Xbox Series S, pay $200, bro, you're not gonna buy a PlayStation, because by the time you have Game Pass for the next 4 years, you're done. Like, you're chilling already on the PlayStation 6 at that point, you know. So there is a lot of, like, these side deals, and there is a lot of other mid-tier games. Like, I still want to know what's gonna happen on World of Warcraft. Like, literally no one's talked about World of Warcraft. If they put World of Warcraft on Game Pass, I'd probably go and play World of Warcraft. Like, I'm a nerd, I'll admit to it, I don't mind. But yeah, like, it's weird. It's really weird to me. I don't, at least in my opinion. I don't know. I'm just overthinking it maybe a little bit, but the idea is it might be good for Xbox. Like, this actually might be a good headwind if we're seeing more European places kind of confirming this. I think if all of Europe can confirm it, I think the US will be a lot more likely. Although, once again, we have to wait for more information and details and everything else to come out, because it could be good, could be bad. We really don't know at the end of the day. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. Like, do you care about this Xbox deal? Do you care about these brand new dramas, the leaks? I really want to know about the numbers. I think that really is going to be the most important stuff. I think those leaks are going to be very juicy with very good numbers as well. I kind of want to hear your thoughts. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below. We have the Target links down below. We have the Amazon links down below. We have everything else all in between too. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.